The 49ers went into Philly, missing key players, losing another one, and still found a way to win. We're breaking down who stepped up, who deserves 49K Player of the Week, and what this win tells us about their chances heading into the divisional round against Seattle on today's 49K Pod.
You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It is Monday, January 12th, doing this show on location. And by location, I mean my couch.
Yes.
Because the AFC wildcard round game between the Texans and the Steelers is happening right now. And so just wanted to make sure I caught that action, even though so far it's been, kind of boring. It's 7-6. It's in the third quarter. The terrible towels are, I guess, swinging over there, but not as exciting as the 49ers game, I'd have to say, and some of these other ones. But I'm joined here by my Monday co-host, Weston. Weston, we got a good one to talk about. We happen to be matching today as well. This was not planned. So it's just the vibes we were feeling. Weston, how you doing?
It's Red Hoodie Day, apparently. I was just telling you, I literally walked in my door. I've been out my door since 6:15 this morning. I walked in literally like 7 minutes ago at this point. Longest day ever. Hungover all day from drinking my nerves away during that 49ers game. And you know what? Even at my age, I do it all over again for another victory at the link. Cry, Eagles, cry. Let's go, Niners. That's where I'm at, baby.
Let's go. I love that energy. I really do. And yeah, I mean, it's sweet anytime your team wins a playoff game, but it's so much sweeter when it's against Philly in Philadelphia, no less. I hate that fan base. Get them the hell out of here. So, we're going to talk about this game, what transpired and all that. And actually, usually, Weston, we start with the injuries. I say, let's talk about the injuries a little bit at the end of the show, because what I want to do is talk about the injuries, how that might impact the next game, the divisional round against Seattle. So first, I just want to get your thoughts on this game. I gave my thoughts on the post game, so just want to hear yours, just how you felt about this one from start to finish, the momentum swings at different points in this game. Tell me about it.
Well, I think you know how I feel about this game. I was listening to your post game, and I'm sending blind freaking super chats with not even putting anything in it. I was just fired up. My fingers were just moving. I couldn't stand it. Like Steph, I told you, I've been working this event for work. I left early because I haven't missed a 49ers game in 25 years, and there's no way I'm missing a playoff game for a team that's in my own backyard. Like, there's no way that's happening. But wow, what a game. What a game. I have my thoughts, right? Like, do I think the 49ers won the football game? Sure. Do I think the Eagles lost the football game? Sure. You know what I mean? There's all these factors that can go into it. It's just my thought is, and we'll get into the intricacies of this, is in professional sports, there is nothing more dangerous than a team that is playing with house money and nothing to lose. And they are playing by very definition of the terminology, team ball. Like I said, we agonize over this every week. Who's going to be the 49K Player of the Week? And we'll talk about that in just a few moments. But it's just hard to find, because I don't think anybody stood out, right? Like the superstar Herculean effort. What stood out to me was guys picking each other up off the ground, guys picking up the slack for one another, guys just getting on the same page, like resiliency, toughness, just this will to win. And it was wild to watch. I mean, listen, not just the 49ers game. Every game so far outside of last night's game has felt this way when you're watching it, right? We've been spoiled. Like, the wild card round has been really, really exciting. Really good football, close football games. I just feel elated that given everything, given everything. And you know what? I'll eat my own words because all week I didn't give our own team a chance going in. This was a get right game written all over for Philadelphia to march on to the, an appearance in 2 consecutive Super Bowls. And they have the formula to do it. It was just, wow. I'm like speechless over it. I have no voice. Like if you can't tell,
I can hear that.
This game took a lot from me. Like years off my life, stress. But what was just so awesome was we know all the stats when Kyle Shanahan's losing in the fourth quarter and blah, 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 blah. This just threw conventional wisdom out the window and said, like, let the team that wants it more go win the football game. And Eagle fans would admit this. The San Francisco 49ers clearly wanted this football game significantly more than the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's simple.
Also, Kyle Shanahan needs to be coach of the year, argue with a wall.
Yeah.
Man, come on. I mean, he's putting on a coaching clinic out there for this team. And the defense, too, like credit to Robert Saleh as well for both sides of the ball to really come together, to rally, despite all the guys that they're missing. I think says a lot about just the unity inside that locker room, the resiliency of this team, just a complete 180 from where this team was just a year ago. So, yeah, I watched this game thinking at different points that, if they lost, I was still going to be proud of them.
Sure.
When George Kittle went down, that was in the second quarter. And, so at that point, I felt, okay, this is probably not going to be our day. Of course, this would happen to us. I was just so desensitized by the fact that another star player goes down, of course. And, after that, they surprised me, right? Mm-hmm. And they've done it so many times this year. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised at this point. But you just you continue to wonder, okay, which injury is going to be the one that breaks the camel's back, right? And so far, they're still chugging along, heading into this divisional round now. But I think I was most impressed with the defense and what they were able to do when you think about the linebacker core, having guys that haven't started together, all season. You got Garrett Wallow, who people didn't even know who he was just 2 weeks ago. We still don't know who he is, to be quite honest with you. We just know he's playing linebacker for the 49ers right now. And hey, like in his second start, he I think it was his second start, right? Because he started last week as well. In his second start, like he looked pretty good. So I think this was just a game of guys stepping up. Some of those guys, randos a little bit, but like kind of what you said, like it wasn't just like one big star performance, which is funny because we are going to nominate 49K players of the week and vote for them. But it did really feel like a group team effort type of win for this 49ers team. So big credit.
You know what's so wild? Like if you want to know, if you didn't watch this season and you only watched this game, let me tell you who this version of the San Francisco 49ers are. George Kittle, the heartbeat of your offense, arguably the heartbeat of your team in that locker room, goes down, and it was evident immediately it was not good, right? Like immediately, like not good. You never see George Kittle not get off the field.
Well,
right?
On the replay, you could see the Achilles pop. Like we do.
Looks bad, right?
Yeah.
What do they do? Next play, 40 yards to Jawan Jennings, right? like literally next play. Yeah. Literally next play. Like that's what you love about this team. Like forget the next man up notion. It's just like at the end of the game, at the end of the day, the game is about execution. It's about X's and O's, blocking and tackling, and this team just does it. Like it really just doesn't seem to matter like who's out there. Like you talk about, I mean, the litany of superstars and all pro talents that are not available on this roster at this moment in time. And they still go in and do it. Eric Kendricks, Wallow, these guys weren't even on the roster 30 days ago, let alone starting and playing integral parts in the most important football game of the season so far for this team. It's just, it's like, honestly, Steph, it's almost like how dare you think you can win? Like, you know what I mean? Like with everything, like San Francisco 49ers, who the hell do you think you are going out there and doing this? And I agree with you. Like when Kittle goes down, even going into the game, you're playing all the excuses in your head, right? Like if they lose this game, like there's no moral victories in professional sports, but this season certainly feels like one, given everything that they were stacked up against. And like it's just they don't quit. You know what I mean? And to me, they've taken on the persona. This team has finally taken on the persona of their quarterback. A guy who don't quit, who believes in himself more than anybody believes in his talents. And now you got a lot of guys on this roster playing right now, starting, that have to believe in themselves more than anybody else believes in them, because that's where we are in terms of talent on the depth chart. And you look, we can make Phillies have problems, right? This is not the same Philadelphia Eagles team. Roster-wise, it is, but it is not the same Philadelphia team that won the Super Bowl a year ago. But it does not matter. You went on the road in a short week with arguably a junior varsity roster, right, compared to your varsity roster that you were supposed to start and play the season with. And, like, yeah, I know the game was close, but honestly, it never felt to me like it was getting away from them. You know what I mean? Like It always felt like they were able to strike back. It did not matter. They felt in control. Like even things like Saquon Barkley ran for over 100 yards. It didn't feel like that ever once during the game, right? Like it didn't. I thought if I was to just watch the game and then go look at the stats, I'd say he had 40 to 50 yards rushing. Like I know he had more, but it was like in the big time moments, they just shut him down. Tackles for a loss. What did they have? 6 or 7 tackles for a loss in this game? That's wild. That's freaking wild. With no defensive lineman that you can name, right? With your 6th and 7th string linebackers out there that you literally picked off, one out of retirement, the other off the street. Like, what is happening in Santa Clara right now? I have no idea.
Well, you knew that if they weren't going to be able to stop the run, that this was going to be a really long day for the 49ers. And, yeah, you just see guys actually making their tackles. It was a lot different than what we saw from the previous week when they played Seattle, which makes this upcoming game even more interesting to me, because you kind of wonder what version of the 49ers, and in particular this 49ers defense, actually, like, not even just the defense, both sides of the ball, because even that version of the offense looked like an unfamiliar version of it, going into that game after having won, 6 in a row. So let's just kind of rehash what happened in this wild card weekend. Now, of course, as I mentioned, we do still have, Houston and Pittsburgh playing right now, so that'll be decided here in the next maybe hour or so. But on the NFC side, which is what we care about right now, 49ers advance. They're playing the number 1 seed Seahawks, coming off a bye week. All right, we know how that goes. And then you got the Rams and the Bears. Weston, let me ask you this. Thoughts on the 49ers having to play this game on Saturday, the NFL giving them a short week on this one. I know a lot of people were not happy about that, including 49ers beat writer Matt Miyoko made a huge stink on Twitter about it. And I guess, it makes sense, but this isn't like the most uncommon thing. It's not like this never happens, but obviously it does give a big advantage to Seattle, who's coming off the bye week.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just kind of always suspected this game would have been on a Saturday, especially like immediately following the W, just because the 1 seeds have had that week off and they tend to put them on Saturday. We've seen this firsthand when we've been a 1 seed, right? Like getting that bye week, playing on the short week. So is it ideal? No. It makes it less ideal considering it feels like they've played on 3 consecutive short weeks based on like their primetime type games that they've had. The Bears game on the Sunday night, right? And then having to play on Saturday and now having to play on excuse me. So it just feels like they've just had a lot of games in a short period. The extra day could go a long way for sure. Is the extra day bringing George Kittle back? No, right? Like, is the extra day like look, this extra week might get Pearsall back, right? Might finally get him back into the lineup. It has to. Like, if he can't march out here, like, he just needs to not be on the active. Just put him on the IR for the rest of the year, like, whatever it is, right? Like, get the body in and stop playing this freaking guessing game. Not ideal. Not ideal, but kind of like always expected. Somebody had a comment before. I think it was 49ers throwback. Like, yes, the NFL has always hated the San Francisco 49ers. It's just the way it goes. Look, I don't know if you remember, but back in 2011, when they were the 1 seed, played the Saints in that crazy game, that was a Saturday afternoon game, right? Like, because they had the bye, and then that's when they played, and, disadvantage New Orleans Saints in that particular game because they played the Sunday the week before. So always suspected it, less than ideal, but the reality is both ones are playing on Saturday, and we're the low seed. We're playing the 1. That's what happens. You get dragged through the mud.
And I guess in some ways, the 49ers played the Seahawks in week 18. Like, you should already be somewhat prepared. And I get it. Seattle's just as prepared, and even more so because they've only been preparing for this next game. But, I don't know how much is really going to be different schematically from that week 18 game to this one. I mean, you're definitely going to want to make some adjustments, but I'm not sure you need one extra day to do that. I think my biggest concern, obviously, is the rest factor. And this is a team that already struggles with injuries, and so given that, I think that would be my concern. Who else is going to go down in this next game? That's just, we've come to expect that. So that's what would concern me most. Hopefully, guys like Ricky Pearsall could come back, but for other guys like Jair Brown, who suffered a hamstring injury, you're probably looking at him being a long shot to play on Saturday. Just not enough time to come back from that. And I'm not going to dive in fully into the injuries yet, but we could get into Weston 49K Player of the Week nominations. Let's go. Let's go. I'll let you go first.
Wow.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Right.
Wow.
What?
You want me to go first?
No. I'll go first. Because I don't have many to choose from, but I
have 3.
I have probably the same 3, so we'll go through.
Let's do it.
I have plenty of flowers. Not a lot for 49K player, but I'm going to start with DeMarcus Robinson. 6 for 11 and a tutty at 63 yards receiving on the opening drive, right? Like, look, when they signed DeMarcus Robinson in the offseason, we talked about it on this show. Like, hey, what does that mean? And I said, I don't know if it moves the needle, but it ain't an ugly signing considering at the time was just going to be considered a short absence for Brandon Ayuk before he returned to the football field, right? Like, Robinson's been a journeyman. He's won a couple of Super Bowls on different teams. He's been relatively productive in his professional career time and time again. But this is the DeMarcus Robinson that we were hoping that we would see early in this, that we never saw. Ever, not until this moment here, having this big game on a big-time stage, and it just feels like, got it. That's where the matchup was favorable. That's where Brock Purdy was looking to go with the ball throughout the game, and that was needed. And the most important element of this is that first big chunk play, like monkey off the back, opening drive on the road. You're driving down the field. Can't overstate the significance of that initial play. Everybody who's running downfield trying to block for him, George Kittle included in that. My wife's like, why is he just not running straight? I'm like, this is what slow people do. He's just trying to bob and weave. He's not going to outrun anybody. He's not a burner. He still beat me in a foot race, so don't take this the wrong way. You know what I mean? But, like, he wasn't outrunning the Eagles DBs to close out that drive with the touchdown. I think it was Kay Adams. I never even knew this stat. DeMarcus Robinson has played in 149 football games in his professional career. This is only the 3rd time he's gone over 100 yards receiving out of 149 games. What better stage to do it on than on the road in Philadelphia with that ravaged crazy fanatical fan base that they have, like Marcus Robinson. I tip my hat to you, man. We needed that. Now they'll probably come out against Seattle and have 0 catches. No, you know what I mean? It'll be somebody else. But in this moment, he shined bright.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you go into this game with no Ricky Pearsall, the impact of not having Ricky Pearsall, I think these last 2 weeks has been pretty evident. Like you need a guy to be able to get open. And look, Robinson is not at the caliber of Ricky Pearsall, but even so, he does have a knack for getting open. And it's kind of just been this untapped potential that, when he first signed with the 49ers in the offseason, you thought to yourself, hey, this could be a really nice signing. Like, he's very underrated. Seeing what he did with the Rams. I get it. He was like a wide receiver 3-4 pretty much his whole career. But when he did have those opportunities, you felt like he made the most of them. So I always saw that potential, and the 49ers just didn't really use him all that much, or, for whatever reason, just wasn't very featured. Now, missing Ricky Pearsall, I think maybe, and having all this time, quite frankly, to acclimate with the team, with Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan having the chance to maybe scheme some things up for him. And like you said, maybe it was more matchup dependent. Like, hey, you do this thing really well that matches up great with how Philly's secondary works. So we're going to do this and that. Obviously it worked out. Best game of the season by far for him. And sounds like, based on that stat you gave, Weston, maybe one of his best career games as well. The 7 targets and 6 catches, both season highs. 5 of those catches moved the chains for first downs. You already mentioned over 100 yards, the tutty. I mean, that's the type of contributions that we need to see, especially from those unsuspecting guys, right? Like these are the unsung heroes that need to step up for this team when other guys are down, and Demarcus Robinson did that, right? So, yes, definitely was one on my list as well. You weren't wrong about that. Let's see if you have this next guy on your list, Eric Kendricks, who turns 34 next month. He's been with the 49ers since November 26th, so like a month and a half. He had 12 total tackles in this game, 5 stops, and a pass breakup that essentially sealed this game. This was a tweet that KP posted, my Friday co-host posted on Twitter. He said, quote, Eric Kendricks did not miss a tackle in the wild card round or in week 18. That's the first time all season that a starting 49ers linebacker went 2 successive games without missing a tackle. That is exactly the type of player the 49ers need right now at that linebacker spot, with so many guys that are missing. I mean, you didn't even have D. Winters. Bethune's out for the rest of the year as well. You need that veteran savvy presence back there, and he's bringing that. Like, I feel so much better with him out there. I'm glad the 49ers made that move. They did it before the playoffs. It was kind of like they always make one of those moves before the playoffs where it's like, we might need this depth down the line. Let's see. And lo and behold, they did. And so far it's paying off for them. So I do feel good about the linebacking group with Kendricks there, and going into this game against Seattle. I think there's an opportunity that it looks better than it did in week 18, just with Kendricks being there.
Yeah. I did have this player, for the record. I would say that let's not forget that Eric Kendricks, they tried to make this move last year, right?
Yes.
They tried to make this move literally last year. So he's been on their radar. They know the caliber of player that he is. And once upon a time, he was in the upper echelon of linebackers in the National Football League, right? So this is a guy that has done it at the highest of levels. Is he doing it at 34 like he was doing at 26, 27, 28 years old? Absolutely not. But I think he's like literally the steady Eddie that this team needs right now on that side. He's, again, you hear it in his post-game press conference. Like, the guy is just cool and calm and gets it. And that type of demeanor for this team that could be in a frantic state, losing a starter every single week of the season, that's the presence that they need. A couple tackles for a loss too, right? And KP, I love you, but please don't make those tweets anymore because next week he might miss 4 tackles, right?
No, don't
please stop. No jinxing tweets this week, people. No jinxing tweets. You got something that's fringe, stuff it in the bag, come out later with it, like after the fact. But yeah, just played a really, really good game. And like, look, good news is like a guy like that, the more reps he's gonna get, the more comfortable he's gonna feel, the more liberties he's gonna take, and he's gonna feel confident truly owning that green dot, right? And like taking over that on the defense. And just a very savvy move by the San Francisco 49ers to bring this guy in prior to the playoffs, right? Like, yeah, he's been on this roster since November 26th, but the first game he played was Seattle, was it not? Week 18?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's played 2 weeks, right, for this football team. And a huge reason why the defense was pretty darn sturdy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
and literally the game sealing play like that,
Yeah.
you almost picked that off too.
For sure. We just can't intercept passes for whatever freaking
for the life of us.
Yeah,
no, just can't do it.
Upton Stout should have had one, a pick six.
That
game should have been wiped out right then and there, but
he should have, and that would have been in the first quarter. We'll return to that one.
Yeah,
not to give up too much, but Flowers might be on the way. But just one last thing on Kendrick. So just the fact that veterans has seen so much football in his career. That's what gives him the quiet confidence that he has out there. And guess what? Like I feel like that rubs off on these other guys that you have who are kind of on the same boat in terms of, hey, we just starting. But having a guy like that next to you, I think helps give you some confidence in knowing, hey, I just need to do this. I'm sure, like, I think one thing Kendrick said about Wallow, for example, is like communication was great between them, right? Like, so these are the things, the little things that matter. And so appreciating that with Kendricks as well. All right, Weston, give us, I'm assuming we have the same 3. So give us your third nominee here.
It's all world, Mr. Everything to us this season. It's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
114 yards across 21 touches, which might be his like lightest workload of the season, right? Or like the second lightest workload. 2 touchdowns. Look, the run game was stymied, right? Like, let's call it what it is. 75 yards on, that's literally 3 yards a carry on 25 carries across the 3 people that ran the football. But it's just big time players make big time plays in big time moments. The play call was I'm not even going to where you might think I'm going. His second touchdown of the game, the one that put us ahead and ultimately sealed it. What a play call by Kyle. Yeah. What a route by Christian McCaffrey. And I always talk the best ability is availability, and Christian McCaffrey is just always available for work. Just always available for work in the biggest moments, on the biggest stages. It wasn't the sexiest of his performances. But then you go to the play, right? The jet sweep reverse pass from Jawan Jennings to Christian McCaffrey. We can get into the throw. We can get into this play call. We can get into all of that, but we're focused on Christian McCaffrey. What a freaking catch. Just what a center field type play, tracking the ball over your shoulder, diving for this, getting into the end zone on the biggest of stages. And guys, he's a running back in the National Football League, and he's making plays that wide receivers who get paid big time money do not make. It is unquestionably Christian McCaffrey and what he means. The mere fact Christian McCaffrey could have 0 production in the game, but if he's out there for 30 snaps, you have to account for every step he takes on the football field for all 30 plays. We talked about DeMarcus Robinson before. Defense coordinator for Philadelphia, I promise you, never once in the meeting room was like, we got to take number 5 out of this game, right? The focus was taking 23 and 85 out of the game, and that builds opportunity for everybody else. But they did everything they possibly could to stymie Christian McCaffrey. And again, on an off day at the office, he still puts up 115 total yards of scrimmage, 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, it's been so fun to watch you play this year.
We'll also credit to Kyle Shanahan for scheming it up that way to get Christian McCaffrey the ball, even knowing just how much gravity he has, because he has so much, just being the special player that he is. You know the 49ers want to get him the ball, but it's that trickery, right? It's the eye candy, and that's just enough to get Christian the ball on 2 of those touchdowns that he had. And I get he's a running back, but in this game yesterday, he was an honorary wide receiver. Like, no freaking doubt about that. 66 receiving yards. But, to your point, it was the way that he made those catches. Like, I believe it was in the first drive, that opening drive. Beautiful. Like the pass that put them at first and goal, basically, or the throw. Not pass or throw. The catch that he made that put him at first and goal, getting up in the air, shielding the defender away from them. Like, that just looked like a classic wide receiver type of, big body catch right there. Like, that's good physical football. And I was very impressed by that one from Christian. And then you had the route you mentioned on the second touchdown on the Texas route. I was watching, there's this guy who does like really great film breakdowns. I think he's like called Film Watchers or something like that on social media. Great breakdowns. And so he noted how Kyle Shanahan kind of had that same formation look a couple times in that game, where Christian was, running off to the left on these plays, and then the Eagles expecting the very same thing on that red zone possession. There, you have Nakobe Dean going over towards that side, pretty much running the same route as Christian. He knows it's coming, and then that's when Christian runs it back inside on the Texas route. Touchdown. And credit to Brock on that one too. Hell of a play altogether. And don't get me started on the trick play. I mean, just to be able to, like you said, to track the ball like that, that's wide receiver stuff right there. And he's as good as any of them. He's better than most of them, right? I mean, it's another day in the office for Christian McCaffrey, 114 total yards.
An off day at the office.
It feels like a quiet day for McCaffrey, and he had 2 touchdowns. Like, that's sort of insane. Before we get into anything else here, just wanted to update you guys on this game. The score is still 7-6. Texans up, and I think Nico Collins just got carted off to the locker room. Fourth quarter just started a little bit ago, so like I said, this game's a little boring, but you guys have us at least. We're going to keep it rocking and rolling here. We've got 3 nominees for 49K Player of the Week. Let me put them up on the screen. All right, so we got DeMarcus Robinson, Eric Kendricks, Christian McCaffrey. You guys let us know in the comments, who do you think deserves to be 49K Player of the Week for their performance against the Eagles in the wild card round. Let us know in the chat if you're with us here. In the meantime, Weston and I are going to give some flowers. Now, you said you had a lot of flowers to give. I do too. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers. I'll let you go first.
Wow. All right. I'm going to start. I'm going to stay on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to go with Kyle Juszczyk. I just think he, we knock him about that's Shanny's boy. He sticks around because of that. What does he really do? Another guy that in a game like this, a muddy game, just doing it all, right? Like, he's out there run blocking, made a couple good catches himself, some chunk plays. By the way, coincidentally earned his 10th All-Pro nomination in his professional career. I know it's a not a highly competitive position because not all teams use fullbacks, but to just consistently be the most regarded at your position in any sport is an accolade and achievement in itself. But I just thought, like, when I think of what gels a football team, it's people, right? It's any sport, it's people that bring it together. And losing Kittle, who we know the relationship that the Juszczyks have with the Kittles and Claire and Kristen and all of them, like, it's just highly documented. That's an opportunity for an athlete to check out, right? Like you said, did the shoe just drop? Did the other shoe just drop, etc.? I just thought Kyle Juszczyk really, really mattered in this football game, and more so just for, 4 catches, 49 yards. That's a highly productive day for any fullback. We don't ask him to do all of that, and he just made some good plays, and I just think his steadiness in the huddle. I just think really highly of Kyle Juszczyk, right? Like the person, and I think the person, not even just the player, was really needed to win this game in the huddle, on the sideline, in the locker room at halftime. I think players, teammates are very aware of the relationship that he has with George Kittle. How is Kyle going to react, right? And they look around and they say, okay, this guy's a professional, business first. We go forward. I'll follow in line with that. I think he was significant in this game.
Juice always ready to answer the bell when his name is called, which isn't always that often because there's so many mouths to feed in this offense, right? And he plays a specific role that, doesn't always necessarily need the ball in his hands. But when you have George Kittle go down and, you're already missing Ricky Pearsall, like you need guys, right? You need guys to step up. Kyle Juszczyk did that. I think we continue to see that going forward among probably a couple of other guys who are going to look to step up as George Kittle misses the rest of the season. But I think, when you say steady Eddie, Weston, I do think of a player like Kyle Juszczyk because he's dependable. You're not going to see him a whole lot, which, at times begs the question among the fan base of what does he even do here? Why is he on this team still? You could have let him go. And then you get these reminders every so often of just how meaningful him being out there is, beyond just, I guess, some of these catches here and there. But often it's the things you don't see, right? Yeah. Which he's contributing. So, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Didn't have him on my list, but I think that's a great one. And while we're on –
if you don't mind, one final point on that. Like you mentioned about answering the call when you're called upon, right? I think that is really important to understand. We had a prime example of what that looks like when you don't rise to the occasion or answer the call from the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a very hard thing to not feel like you're involved in the game, right? In some capacity. Ask running backs who just feel like I'm not getting any momentum, I'm not getting touches, and I'm building steam, et cetera. A.J. Brown is a prime example of what it looks like when you're just not involved in the offense, and then big plays, big moments, and the mind's not there, the body's not there, whatever's not there. Like you don't get that from Juszczyk. You know what I mean? You get a big play in a big spot, and it might be the only play of the game that he actually contributes in the stat column, right? Like, but he will be there when you need him, and he is ready.
Exactly. And that in games like this, that is worth a hell of a lot. Quick super chat from Hakeem the Dream. Shout out Hakeem. He says, as a skeptical 49er fan here in NYC, I'm very proud of the team. Shanahan deserves a lifetime contract, and I'm predicting a win in Seattle. It will be difficult for Seattle to beat us twice in a row. Ooh. Weston and I are going to give our thoughts on that game here in a bit. But Hakeem, thank you for the super chat. I do agree. Shanahan deserves a lifetime contract, maybe with some outs, but
Yeah, look, Hakeem, I get the sentiment, right? And a lot of people are saying this right now. I'm just not a believer. Like nobody gets a lifetime contract, right? Like look how quick things can sound. You got Philadelphia like literally calling for Sirianni's head. The man just won the Super Bowl last year, right? Like was the gift to Philadelphia City, and they're like, he's got to go because of decisions he makes. So I still would like the right to first refusal, But there is no scenario in my brain that I can come up with right now that says Kyle Shanahan doesn't have the keys to the city and shouldn't be the San Francisco 49ers head coach for the far foreseeable future.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And again, we'll continue to say it. Let's get him coach of the year. All right. Like that's first and foremost. But while we were on the topic, Weston, of guys who stepped up, who answered the bell, one player I want to give flowers to was Marquez Siegel, who rookie, started this season, had a huge role from the jump, struggled mightily, in that time. And was ultimately benched for Jair Brown when he returned to the lineup. He comes into this game after Jair Brown gets hurt, and we're talking about a divisional round, a wild card round playoff game on the road. I mean, that's huge. Third most tackles is what he finished with on defense after coming in for Jair Brown, 8 total tackles. And he had a lot of contributions. So credit to Marquez Siegel. And just really quickly, Texans just scored on a defensive touchdown. Score is about to be 17-6 as long as they get this extra point after this. But they got what was it, a pick six or a fumble on Aaron Rodgers?
I hope so. God, I hate it. Freaking hate
it. Fumble. Yeah. Will Anderson got there first and Rankins
sack,
it in.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, we're keeping tabs on that one. But Marquez Siegel, back to him. And I thought he did a really good job in the event that Jair Brown misses this upcoming game against Seattle. I mean, Weston, how good do you feel about Marquez Siegel having to potentially start this game? I mean, that's a tough ask. And it's not going to be this middling Eagles offense that can't get out of their own way. You're going to have the likes of Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's a different challenge, I think. So what would be your confidence level with Marquez Siegel?
I don't think I can answer what my confidence level is because I'm not highly confident in any of the safety play at the moment in time. What I would say is based on the overall lack of production from the position, I'm just rolling with the hot hand. I'm just rolling. I don't care if Jair Brown's healthy. Marquez Siegel stepping in the way that he did, played his way back onto the field. That's the way I look at it. To me, it's that simple. 36 starts next week, regardless of what the situation is.
Really? Regardless?
Yeah, regardless. In my opinion, right? Again, I think right now you have to look around and say, how do we keep winning in the playoffs? And it's going to be unconventional, right? This is not the 49ers team that's just said, we're going to run the ball 40 times on you. They're not that team. We only have to put up 20 points because our defense is not going to give you more than 10. Not that team. It's just not. To me, you got to just find a spark, lightning in a bottle, right? Position by position. You're seeing that from Kendrick's play. You're seeing that from Garrett Wallow's play. To me, Siegel did enough to say that, got it. You're rested. You're healthy. You got nothing to lose. You're going to be on that football field on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think Jair Brown's just not going to be able to go, so I think we will probably see Siegel out there, and hopefully he could repeat the type of performance that he had to finish out this game. But Weston, any other flowers that you have here?
Siegel was definitely one of them. So we're completely on the same page at this moment in time.
We're matching. We're have the same list of players. We're just completely in sync today.
Yeah. How do we walk out of this podcast not giving flowers to QB1, Brock Purdy?
He was on my list.
There's just no way. I mean, I could have had him nominated for 49K Player of the Week, and I'm not just talking about the stats. The stats are what the fans want to see. What I want to see from QB1, as I said this earlier, does my team adopt my identity? What's Brock's identity? Scrappy, gamer, intelligent. I feel like he wills this team, right? And I think they look to him for that leadership, that motivation, which is what you want from your quarterback, right? Most important position of all sports. You want them to be inspiring, and you want your team to rally around them. But look around the NFL, that's not the case at all, right? Like half of these teams don't get behind their quarterback. Just his, all right, so what? I threw picks. Guess what? Those picks didn't hurt, actually, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, they didn't cost the 49ers anything other than possession and opportunity.
Eagles, 0 points off
0 points off the turnovers, right? In what world do you run the ball for 75 yards, get dominated in time of possession by 10 minutes plus, and are -2 in the turnover margin and still win the football game? I just think it's like he really does have that short-term memory. He's just out there just slinging it. He believes in himself. This team, not just here, next year and beyond, goes as far as Brock Purdy can take them. And I just love his moxie, love his swagger, love his demeanor. And Steph, we've been doing this show how many years together now? I did not always feel this way about number 13. You know that, and I would admit to that. It's not even the play. It's the swagger, the attitude, the moxie, these leadership skills that are really, really winning me over every single week, to the point where I forgive for the Jimmy Garoppolo-esque mistake because I have confidence he's going to overcome it. And my God, who in the National Football League throws a better layer 2 to 3 pass over the middle of the field than this guy? Like nobody with the anticipation on the throw. The stats will tell you one thing. If you go back and watch the game, you'll see something entirely different, that this dude is a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. Argue with your mother, argue with the wall. I don't give a shit. He can play football.
I don't even think the stats were that bad, though, Weston. Like, yes, I get that he threw the 2 picks, and maybe some will get hung up on that, but he threw for 262 yards, 2 touchdowns against a really good Eagles defense. I understand this Eagles defense is not as good as Seattle's, but it is top 5, top 10 in several defensive rankings. So, yes, still really good defense, and he still managed to do that. Not to mention the fact that this was his first time going back to Philadelphia, right? Since the UCL?
No.
Or the playoff game. First playoff since that.
Yeah. Because they put that belt to ass in Philly the following year. Yeah.
You're right. But first playoff game since that one that he tore his UCL on. So, I mean, I feel like anytime you're in Philly, it's going to bring a little something extra. And that's a little something extra that could potentially get in a player's head. Like, but not Brock Purdy. I mean, I think he rises to the occasion. He looked very comfortable out there. On the game-winning drive, he was 5 of 7, 42 yards, a touchdown, picked up a first down with a 5-yard scramble as well. That's just another part of his game that we just appreciate so much, just his ability to use his legs. Just so sneaky athletic out there. Love my QB.
The Jesus Christ lizard. Hey, did you see Nick Wright's comments on this by any chance?
I didn't.
All right. So Nick Wright is the consummate Brock hater, right? Like we all know that, right? Like very public. I can't wait to go downstairs after this podcast, by the way. I will. And she will drag me. That is my wife. She runs this household. She will drag me. Steph has met her firsthand. I bow down to the queen for sure. But Nick Wright actually built this graphic that was meant to be a Brock compliment. But Kyle Shanahan all right. So Brock has 2 wins when trailing in the fourth quarter by more than 6 points. 2 wins. All other Kyle Shanahan quarterbacks in that exact same scenario, trailing by 6 points or more in the fourth quarter, are 0-30. And he's got 2 wins. So, he's 4-14 when trailing in the fourth quarter. We know what Kyle Shanahan's record looks like in the fourth quarter. So, even don't get that twisted. Like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, they have losing records when they're trailing going into the fourth quarter, right? They might have some more fourth quarter comebacks. There's a larger sample size. But that to me just there's just no quit in that man, right? Like, and that's the identity that this team has needed to adopt throughout this football season, because they've been given every reason to quit and they haven't once. So we'll see. We'll see how far it takes us.
Even in their losses, they haven't quit.
Nope.
Like we have not seen it. We haven't seen it this year. It's been awesome to see from this team. Really, really proud of them. Let's give a couple more flowers. I have like 3 more guys on this list, but we don't have to get super into all of them.
Okay.
Just a quick one for Garrett Wallow, who similarly to Eric Kendricks, right? Just coming in. You haven't played for this team very long, kind of off the street, special teams or whatever. 11 total tackles, 3 stops, 1 pass breakup. Those are the type of good contributions that will. I mean, hey, like it's not like I can't even say it'll earn you some playing time. At this point, the playing time is given to you just by virtue of like all the injuries. But I mean, hey, like Garrett Wallow's did a pretty good job in this game, so credit to him. Eric Kendricks, as I mentioned earlier, praised his communication, so credit to him. Do you have a quick one you want to give?
No, but I'm good. But I would say for Garrett Wallow, I apologize to you, sir. I was unfamiliar with your game last week when we were talking about you.
We all were.
I'm not praising this man to be a superstar, but what I'm saying is probably exactly what this team needs right now. Just accountable, communicating, aggressive, willing to stick his nose in there and willing to do what's asked of him and take advantage of his opportunity. And it did not look bad on the football field when it was pieced together. So again, I owe that man an apology, because last week I was literally like, I don't even know who this guy is. I don't even remember them signing him or bringing him on.
I know. I don't
That's
remember
how insignificant it was. Like, and now you're just starting. No big deal in the playoffs in the National Football League.
All right, I got a couple more, but I'll give them flowers pretty quick. Upton Stout nearly picked off Hurts in the first quarter. We talked about that one. Undercutting Devontae Smith's route on a 4th and 2, big play, and you're doing it against a really good receiver in Devontae Smith. I mean, that just shows
trophy winner.
He's been in the film room for sure. He's been getting better each and every week, contributing. I love Upton Stout. Hive is buzzing. We're taking new members. Come join us. He allowed just 2 catches for 23 yards in his coverage. And then lastly, I'm going to give some flowers to Keon White, who was battling a couple injuries going into this week. You weren't even sure if he was going to play. 3 total tackles, including 1 for loss. But the sack on Jalen Hurts in the 4th quarter was absolutely huge. So huge, and I don't usually do this, especially for like just flowers, but I'm going to put it up on the screen. As you see, Kyle Madsen posted this screen grab here. Look at how much green grass Jalen Hurts had in this moment, and you see a Keon White there. CJ West has his arm extended as well, but ultimately this is Keon White's tackle here, and he saves what was probably going to be a first down or more. Like, this was on its way to being a big gain, huge play for Hurts, but got it done. Love this team, man. Love this team. Let's talk about this game coming up and just the actually see, I'm not used to doing this order. Yeah, let's do the 49K player of the week. Weston, who do you have for 49K PO dub?
Christian McCaffrey.
All right, Christian McCaffrey. I actually have Eric Kendricks, which means we have a 2-way tie between Demarcus Robinson and Eric Kendricks right now. If one person wants to throw in a vote to be our tiebreaker, please do so in the live chat. We'll keep it up for a couple more minutes. But I also wanted to talk about the injuries just really quickly, Weston. We've got, obviously, George Kittle, who has the torn Achilles, out for the rest of the season. Obviously, that's going to be an impact even to the 2026 season. And I think the recovery timeline, according to, and this isn't official, but just a projection from Dr. Narav Pandya, he's facing a 9 to 12 month post-surgery return. So big road ahead for George Kittle. You just hate to see that for such an important player. Jair Brown with a hamstring injury, expected to be a long shot for the divisional round. Ricky Pearsall, who's missed the last 2 games, or has it been 3 at this point?
2 games.
Wasn't close enough to be in a game-time decision, or from Kyle Shanahan's words, wasn't close enough to do a pregame warm-up to see if he could even play in that game on Sunday. So we'll see if that changes for Ricky Pearsall this week, if he's able to practice at all. Again, 49ers facing a short week here, so fingers crossed for Pearsall. As far as Fred Warner, Kyle Shanahan said chances are, quote, not very high that he returns this week. But there was a video clip of Fred Warner, doing some football drills, and he was on a podcast actually, I think today, and saying that he's back to doing his regular football drills. He said if it were up to him, he'd be out there, but he understands there are some specific markers he has to hit. So that's why what Kyle Shanahan is saying, that he's not very his chances aren't very high for returning this week. It's with that in mind. So Fred thinks he could go out there, but obviously the 49ers do have a duty in protecting him. But anyway, all that to say, how much do you think these injuries impact the 49ers going into this game? I mean, obviously George Kittle's a big one. My early thoughts on Seattle and what needs to be different. I'm not going to say like they need a miracle, because I honestly don't think the Week 18 game was as bad as it felt. It felt really bad because the offense couldn't do anything. But if they just scored 1 touchdown, it's a completely different ball game, in my opinion. And I think they do score a touchdown this time around, even without George Kittle. Like, I do see a path, Weston, in which they can get this done. Like, call me crazy, but again, this team has surprised me. I'm leaving space for them to surprise me again.
I think you have to. I mean, honestly, it's just the George Kittle injury, right? That is the most upsetting in this. This team's already decimated with injuries. You never want to move forward without the guy, the glue, the gel, who more so than anybody on this roster knows exactly what this matchup against a Seattle Seahawks team means to this franchise, to this fan base, etc. But they've been doing it without Ricky. They've been doing it without Fred. Don't know how much Jair Brown is contributing to their success or not, if I'm being honest with you. So I don't know. Kind of like watching this team with the deck stacked against them.
Yeah,
they're just fun. Like, it just makes them. You never back a wild animal into the corner, right? Like, that's a dangerous spot to be, and that's what keeps happening to this team. This is a dangerous spot for the Seattle Seahawks this weekend. Don't be looking ahead to who your opponent is in the NFC Championship game. This game's going to feel different than Week 18.
I think it will too. I don't know why. Like, especially with these divisional games, you just know that there are going to be adjustments. And from Seattle's standpoint, I mean, what adjustments are they going to make? They look at that Week 18 game, they're going to come out and do the exact same thing.
Feels like perfect tape.
Yeah. So as long as Kyle Shanahan has some adjustments, I'll give them that. Like, their defense is scary. Like, it is scary good. And it's not going to be any easier when you don't have George Kittle in the mix, because he obviously has gravity of his own as well. But I trust Kyle Shanahan. I trust Robert Saleh might even have, some better plan in place for this one. The run, what has to be different mostly? The run defense.
They have to be able to run the football. That's what's got to be different. Well, they have to be able to run the football.
I guess on both sides, the 49ers have to be able to run the football a little bit better, which, quite honestly, I don't know if they're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
But they need to at least be able to stop the run on the other side as well.
Yeah. I mean, Trent Williams playing in this game helps a little bit, does it not?
Yeah, it sure does.
I don't think Robert Saleh has to make too many adjustments. He gave up 13 points in Week 18. Giving up 13 points in the NFL is like pitching really a shutout. Good. You know what I mean? Like, I think the defense did their part. I think this was about This is about the offense. You want to know what this game really comes down to? Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Kyle can't get out coached. We praised him as coach of the year. That chatter stopped real quick after week 18, right? And now it's back on full throttle. Like, let's keep it full throttle.
Let's keep it. All right. We're still waiting on a tiebreaker vote. DeMarcus Robinson or Eric Kendricks. Do you want to change your vote, Weston? I'll give you that.
If I had to go between these two, I would go DeMarcus Robinson.
All right, DeMarcus Robinson, Florida 9K Player of the Week after this wild card performance. And I don't know if he's going to get a lot of nominations in the future. So, hey, good for him. So excited for this game on Saturday. It should be one for the books, the third matchup against the Seahawks. Hopefully the 49ers could take it. But, yeah, we'll be doing Bully Ball tomorrow, and then also preview show on Friday, and then post game, of course, on Saturday. So make sure you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. Audio listeners, leave a rating, leave a review. But for now, folks, have a good rest of your Victory Monday night. For now, peace.